every way I'm taking care of myself after a gut-wrenchingly terrible breakup a few months ago. Number one, no contact. This was probably the hardest part, and I know everyone talks about no contact, but honestly, it helped me so much. It really was the only thing that helped me feel in control of my life and my emotions and made me feel like I'm really living for myself instead of just waiting on someone to respond to me or give me the time of day, apologize, any of those things. Number two, I deleted all the old messages. I am someone who's prone to romanticizing the past. I'm someone who will ruminate and go back over things that were said and think, oh, I could have done this differently. Oh, it used to be so good. Can't we just get back to that? And it really was all those old messages that were prompting it. And I had a habit of going back over the bad things that were said to me as well, using that to justify my misery. And at a certain point, I just realized I don't need to be looking at this. Like, I already know what happened and what was said. I don't need to literally be seeing it and reliving it. Another point about the old messages, looking at the old messages was making me miss a person that no longer existed. There was a complete change after the breakup, and by going through old messages, I was equating the person that I was in a relationship with the person that I now was like broken up with, and they were not the same person. And once I stopped doing that, I was able to compartmentalize, okay, this person I was in a relationship with, this is someone I don't even recognize anymore. And that really, really helped me heal. Another thing that I did was go to therapy, and I've been in therapy before. It wasn't really like I started going to therapy because of the breakup. I actually started looking into it quite a while before that, but I honestly don't know how long it would have taken me to see the patterns, the cycles, the behavior, to really validate my own experiences. If I hadn't gone to therapy, there were so many things that I just couldn't see clearly because I was inside of it. And every other person I talked to also, of course, had a bias in the situation. So my therapist was really the only truly objective person that I could talk to about it. She's helped check me on things, things that I was thinking that she was like, no, this is not true. Like, something has happened to kind of warp your thinking, and I really needed to be checked on that. And really the validation that came from going to therapy was absolutely priceless after so long of being told that certain things I experienced didn't happen, or certain things that were said to me weren't said. I completely questioned my own reality, and going to therapy really helped me know like what was real and what wasn't in the aftermath. Another thing I did that was incredibly helpful post-breakup was regular movement. I'm someone who walks. If I have something to think about, I can go for an hour-long walk and not even think about it. So unfortunately, I broke my toe last week, so I haven't been doing as much of this recently, but honestly, like, even going to workout classes has been so helpful to me because A, it gets me out of the house, B, it's really low pressure socialization. Like, you can talk to people if you want to in a workout class, before and after, obviously, probably not during, but you don't have to, and it's just like being around people sometimes, even for me, is enough to feel like I've like interacted with others and had some form of socialization throughout the day. And then also just like walking, running, riding my bike has helped turn anxiety into action. And at least then if I'm ruminating, I feel like I'm like doing something and working it out like through my body, because sometimes I get stuck in my head and things kind of like get stuck there, and when I'm not moving and when I'm really sedentary, my anxiety gets so much worse because I'm not like somatically working it through, I guess. So movement has really helped. Sorry, that was a tangent, but movement, daily movement. So another thing I did, and this one is probably hard for a lot of folks going through similar experiences, I would imagine, is I just let myself feel terrible. I let myself grieve. There were days when I didn't leave my bed in the beginning, and at first I kind of beat myself up about it, but then I just realized, and a lot of people reinforce this, like, you've undergone an exponential loss. Like, no matter how bad it was, there's a part of your life and a person in your life that has kind of been ripped away after a breakup, especially if you go no contact immediately. And it feels like grieving a death, to be honest. And in many ways, I was kind of grieving the death of the person I was, the death of the person that I knew and I thought I knew and was in a relationship and loved. And so I just let myself feel all of it. There were times when I was like, okay, I think I do need a distraction, but for the most part, I just tried to practice radical acceptance. I didn't judge the fact that I felt down a lot of the time. I just let myself be what I was, and not judging myself and not rushing the process really helped me feel like once I kind of got to the light at the end of the tunnel, there wasn't anything I needed to go back over. I didn't feel like I was performatively like healing and going out and making friends. It felt like genuine and something I actually wanted to do, not just because I didn't want to spend time with myself. I already had done that part and I was kind of over it at that point. Another thing that I did to kind of get over the breakup, and this can kind of toe the line into something unhealthy, but I slept a lot. Emotional turmoil, at least for me, like absolutely drains me and I feel physically exhausted. And at a certain point, I think sometimes when you're really living in your mind and you're having like really hard thoughts that are just like keeping you in a loop and it just feels terrible, like sometimes sleep is the best reprieve. And I know sleeping can be hard obviously when you're in that state, but like emotional energy spent can just take it out of you. I think I slept like 9 to 10 hours a day for a while, and sometimes I still do, because when your brain is working overtime constantly on top of your daily responsibilities outside of that like emotional stuff going on, like you're exhausted. I think it's normal to be sleeping a lot, and even when you feel like you're healed and you're still sleeping a lot, I think it's important to keep in mind that you've been through something really difficult that takes a lot of energy and effort, and it's okay to just let your body rest for a little bit and recover from probably some ups and downs. One of the other things I did post-breakup was I leaned on the people that made me feel like myself. I kind of treated myself like a sunflower, the way sunflowers always like turn and face the sun to get as much sunlight as they can. I kind of did an evaluation, paid attention to the people and the situations that make me really feel like my true self. I wrote down the things that I feel like are in line with my values and things that make me feel like myself as a person, and I just started leaning into those situations, those people. I don't know, just kind of like a sunflower. In my relationship, I never really felt like myself, and so that was kind of a process to discover who that even is after the breakup. But now that I have a better idea of it, that's kind of what I'm working on right now, just leaning into the good stuff. One of the final things I'll talk about is mindfulness. This one was extremely hard. If you're someone who already lives in your mind, meditation and mindfulness can kind of feel extremely uncomfortable because you're like, why am I doing even more work in my mind? It can also be difficult if you don't know where to start, so I would recommend guided meditations instead of just sitting and trying to meditate yourself. I just started working on mindfulness meditations, I think that's what they're called, just to kind of like sit with myself, gain better awareness of my body. I think my mind-body connection was like completely severed after my relationship, and so it was kind of getting back into my body, kind of forging that connection again, and really taking the time to be in the moment instead of living in the past, which I think can be huge during a breakup, or thinking about the future, worrying about the future. Instead, I really tried to focus on living in the present. Those are some of the things I tried. I hope that helps someone else.